Welcome back to the Perfect Season podcast. It's the three of us. Leon will be here in October. Antonio, Alex, and Frankie. And this is our review of week one. Now, boys and girls,
Wow, week.
what a week it's been. Starting off with college. College, you had two upsets. Should have been three.
Yeah.
Alabama, it was rigged for Bama. We can say that. It was rigged for Bama. App State beat A&M. And then Marshall beat Notre Dame.
And App State won College Game Day in the process.
Yeah.
God bless App State. That's all I got to say.
God bless App State. Now, we can all agree Notre Dame is overrated.
Correct.
Notre Dame does not belong in the top 25.
Agreed.
Okay, let's get to what this podcast is about. Let's get to NFL.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
I had to start it off with a little college.
a little bit of college, yeah.
Well, okay, that's fine. And you did hit on something that was of major. I mean, there were two upsets. Should have been three. I mean, Oklahoma was only up 7-3 at halftime on Kent State. You thought maybe that was going to be an upset too. And then Kentucky beats Florida, BYU beats Baylor. So, I mean, you did not want to be a top 10 team in college football. What are you? What?
You look like
The Pit Vipers.
You look like an astronaut.
Okay.
I'll take it
All right,
off.
so anyway, NFL Week 1 was probably one of the biggest and craziest Week 1s that I've seen in a long time.
Flabbergasted.
Start off with the Thursday night game. Reigning Super Bowl champions, the LA Rams, looked like they don't even deserve to be in the playoffs.
They don't look like they deserve to be in the league.
If only they played like that 7 months ago in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I know, right? The Bengals would be Super Bowl champions.
In the perfect world.
Let's see what else. Green Bay Packers.
But Alex,
Terrible.
the big takeaway from Bills Rams, Buffalo is as advertised.
Buffalo is that team right now in the league. Buffalo is that team.
Yeah, they're gonna win it all.
And by the way, Alex, I know he played for Florida State. People need to stop talking about Jalen Ramsey as one of the best corners in the league. He is overrated as hell.
I've always liked Jalen Ramsey. When he used to play for Jacksonville, my thing is always this. You can talk as much trash as you want if you can back it up. That's what I was
about to say. You have to back it up. What you talk like. He's out here saying Josh Allen's terrible. The Bills freaking took that drive down the field.
Yeah, and
that opening drive.
Here's my thing about Jalen Ramsey and Frankie. I apologize for this analogy because I know it's been overused. Jalen Ramsey looked like Eli Apple in the Super Bowl. Man was burnt toast the entire time.
Correct. Yeah. I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to disagree with you, Alex. Like Stephon Diggs against Jalen Ramsey was a total mismatch from the beginning. And the Bills drive, we were texting during the game. From the opening drive, Buffalo was in firm command of that game.
Exactly.
Buffalo's taking that division hands down.
Oh, they're taking the division, and they're most likely to be taking the conference.
We don't need to talk about that. Buffalo. If it was me, I'll bet each game Buffalo takes it.
Each game?
I mean, here or there, a couple losses.
That's what to say. I'd say Buffalo could go in from 12-5 to 14-3. I'd put money on that.
I'm betting Buffalo each week.
But here's my thing. To me, Buffalo Rams was still not one of the most interesting games.
I mean,
definitely my most underrated game, Monday night, Broncos at Seattle.
I didn't even watch it.
It was a game. I liked it a lot.
Didn't they miss
a good one?
You missed.
They missed 3 field goals.
Who missed 3 field goals?
I thought Denver missed 3 field goals.
No, really? I think you're thinking of the Colts.
Oh yeah.
No, not.
Well, we actually had a tie week 1.
I hate that. I hate that we've already.
They need to change the rules to college football.
No.
Or if each team gets a possession, they get 2 possessions, and then they have a kicking battle.
Okay. What were we talking about?
We were talking about how Jalen Ramsey's trash.
No. No, more than that. Oh, Broncos, Seattle.
Broncos country. That's right.
I would say the biggest takeaway from the Broncos-Seattle game, Seattle is not missing Russell Wilson. Geno Smith
is that guy.
I wouldn't go that far, but I haven't seen Geno Smith play like that in God knows how long. So aside from Broncos Chargers, that was my game of the week. Let's
Broncos
see.
Chargers.
Broncos Seahawks. My bad.
I'll say this too. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, phenomenal on ESPN.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Usually I'm not a big no. Chris Collinsworth is not my favorite. But anyway, I like Joe Buck.
Well, he had allergies. You could tell he had allergies. And did you guys talk about the decision to kick the field goal on 4th and 5 from 64 yards out?
Yeah, when you have a guy that you just paid $200+ million and you're gonna kick a 64-yard field goal. If it was a 54-yarder, I get it.
Even 50, bless you.
you.
Even 50,
Thank you.
even, Alex, even 54, I can't justify it because you have Russell Wilson as your quarterback. And oh, by the way, the clock management at the end of the game worse than any clock management that Mike McCarthy had last year.
Agreed. That was some horrible clock management. But you know what? Here's my thing. First year head coach, first game, he's gonna get better. He's gonna improve. So
Yeah.
give him a little bit,
That's,
of
you
Yeah.
can't.
but not
this is
a
what,
whole bunch.
This
And
is what I
again-
tell. This is what
and
I
like-
tell everybody. Even if he's a first-year head coach, give it time. Give it time. You can't judge someone off one game. They could win one. They could lose the first game of the week, and they could lose 2 games, 3 games of the first week, and people are going to say, fire this person, fire that person. Then you can go on a 5-game winning streak, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, he's a great coach. Sign him to a long-year deal. Like, you can't judge someone. You can't judge something off one game. Like, I was reading comments of the Falcons and Saints game when the Falcons choked another lead. Sorry, Torin. Rest easy, Falcons. But you can't judge one game. The Falcons dominated the majority of that game. It's just the second half Falcons that are second half Falcons.
Or just fourth quarter. I mean, that's inexcusable to blow a 16-point lead. But what's interesting to me about Denver is, the end of game management was absolutely terrible. But I'll tell you what really cost them: 2 possessions inside the 5-yard line, and both resulted in 0 points. One, a 4th and goal stop, and the other, a fumble at the goal line. So if you can't punch it in from the 5-yard line at least 1 out of 2 times, God forbid you don't deserve to win the game in the first place there, let alone the end of game mismanagement.
Exactly. And then here it goes to show 2 takeaways. One, I'm going to give the Broncos a little bit of credit because new head coach knew everything, give them a little bit of time, but also Seattle is not as bad as what everybody thought they're going to be.
Correct.
That's probably the biggest thing. I wrote off Seattle as maybe a 3 to 5 win team, maybe 6. Now, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs or anything,
Right.
but I would say don't be surprised if Seattle goes 500 at least.
Yeah.
Or
Like, are you
one of
are you-
one of the other games that I found interesting,
Hmm.
Philly Detroit. That was a closer game than I thought.
I think that was a
And
closer
another
game than anybody
game.
thought.
Another game, Jaguars and Commanders. Jacksonville, yes, Jacksonville lost, but you saw a much more improved Jacksonville team.
Yes, and here's my thing about Jacksonville Commanders. Last year, I had everybody telling me that my take was wrong, that I thought taking Travis Etienne in the first round was a mistake. Oh, he went to Clemson, Trevor Lawrence, chemistry and everything. I'm still standing by that take. Travis Etienne dropped 2 passes, one that would have been a touchdown on 4th and goal, and another one. Did you see when he got clipped and he fumbled the ball? Luckily, it rolled out of bounds, but dude, that hit was huge. I mean, come on, his whole body repulsed backwards and everything. I'm not saying that was his fault, but I'm just saying.
But Alex, the man hasn't played football in 2 years.
In a year.
And I agree. I completely understand.
Give him
here's my
his
thing.
time.
Who is his backup right now? Who is the backup running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars? James Robinson. James Robinson should not be the backup. He should be the starter.
Exactly.
Look at what he did when he was out there on the field, showing exactly what he did his rookie year.
So your take is that they shouldn't have taken Travis Etienne?
Yes, completely.
Who would you have taken?
I don't know.
Literally anybody else. I'm not saying Travis Etienne is a horrible player. That's not what I'm saying at all. He's a great player. I'm glad that he's off of injury. He's healed up. He's looking better than what he's ever been. But here's my thing. James Robinson is one of the most underrated running backs, and they're stashing him on the bench. It's like having Gardner Minshew on the bench. You know, that man deserves a chance of being a starter, but he's stashed away as the backup.
I think you're right. And like, it's interesting, that dynamic, because a quarterback and running back duo, like we've seen so many teams pair their quarterbacks with their college wide receiver teammates. The Dolphins, Alex, did it with Tua and Jalen Waddle. The Bengals did it going far. And the Eagles did it with Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith. And now the Raiders have done it with Derek Carr and Devontae Adams. Anthony, you go ahead.
Speaking about Miami, yeah, it was 20-7 they won. But Miami somewhatly dominated New England.
I can't say I'm shocked. New England could be bad this year.
And here's my thing. This is my take on the Dolphins Patriots game, and I'm trying to be as least biased as possible, obviously, because I'm a Dolphins fan. The Dolphins have upgraded their offense significantly with Teron Armstead and obviously Tyreek Hill. That's a given. Tua has looked the best that he's ever had in the past 2 seasons.
I will agree. Tua
270 passing yards and 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He only had 1 bad pass on that I saw, at least. But, and here's the other thing. The Patriots defense is not the issue, it's their offense. And I will go along with Frankie when I say that Mac Jones, I'll go along with my personal thing because I don't know how Frankie feels about this, obviously. Mac Jones has reached his ceiling. That is my opinion. He is a Kirk Cousins type of player. That he is serviceable. He's a serviceable guy. He can win you games, but he cannot ascend to a higher level that is elite.
Okay, hear me out. Switching divisions now. What'd y'all think of Minnesota?
I'm really impressed by what I saw with them.
Minnesota, like I've been saying, Minnesota's taking that division.
Minnesota definitely made a case to me about maybe taking that division.
It's gonna go Minnesota. It's gonna.
It's not.
I'm still stating my case. It's gonna go Minnesota, Detroit. No. Green Bay's terrible. I've watched numerous amounts of times Rodgers throw the deep ball to his receivers. His receivers just drop it.
Yeah,
just drop it.
Christian Watson dropping a wide open catch that would have been a touchdown is pretty bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, I know it is the rookie's first game. It's one of the first games in the NFL, the regular season. But Green Bay's going to be terrible. Green Bay's not taking that division. And then Chicago had a fluke win.
I will agree with – actually, I won't agree with you at all. I think the Vikings have a better chance of winning that division. I say it's 1 and 2 of that divisions will be Vikings, Packers, or Packers, Vikings still.
I just don't see Green Bay doing anything this year.
But here's the other thing. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Frankie.
But I'll tell you what was most impressive from that win on Sunday was their defense. You know, the whole Green Bay to 7 points. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was under duress the entire afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers is just a big crybaby.
Well, that I will agree with. But here's my thing, and this is something that I remember from last year. Do you guys remember what the Saints-Packers game, the final score was last year? That the Packers were held to 3 points, and the Saints scored 38 points.
Yeah.
What happened after that game? The Packers went on a 7+ win streak immediately after that.
It's true.
Here's one thing. I'm not saying that the Packers are going to do that again. Obviously, losing Devontae Parker was Devontae Parker. Oh my God, Devontae Adams. Losing Devontae Adams was one of the worst things that could have ever happened to them. I will agree with that. But I'm not writing off the Packers because Packers in the past have always done horrible in their first week. But in the subsequent 5-6 weeks, they've always surprised everybody and went back to being a playoff caliber, potentially Super Bowl caliber team.
If you still have your receivers dropping passes and everything.
Yes, I would agree as well. But you also have to remember Christian
Who does Green Bay got this week?
Chicago.
Sunday Night Football.
I'll give it a
Sunday Night Football. Yeah, Sunday Night Football at Green Bay, Chicago, week 2.
That's a good rivalry, though.
That's a good rivalry, but still, I mean, I will agree with you this, Anthony, and within reason. Chicago's fluke win, I wouldn't call it a fluke. Was it a...
It was a water... They got a 15-yard penalty for putting a towel down on the field.
Yeah.
it was?
Dude, it was
That's what
my friend. It looked like Hurricane Irma in Florida was at that game. You know how
Irma
intense
wasn't that bad.
Do you remember, Alex, the Dolphins Steelers game in 2007 on Monday Night Football when you couldn't even see the yard markers on the field? That's what this game looked like.
I don't remember that game personally, but I remember seeing clips of that game a couple of years back. So yes, but that's exactly what I mean. When you're on TV, you don't see the rain, but then when you see the guys running and everything, you just see these big puddles splashing up on them and everything.
Not gonna lie, it's kind of funny to watch.
It's funny.
No,
It's
it
very
is.
funny. But here's my thing. Number one, Trey Lance can throw the ball deep. You cannot throw the ball in that way.
No.
Both sides did not
If that
have-
game, hear me, Trey Lance, he's still a project quarterback.
Trey Lance, I think, is going to shock the world.
I still think they rushed him into being a starter.
I disagree with that at all. I completely disagree. With
I mean,
I
I'll
think
change
it's an approach, but like, he's allowed to struggle. You're playing on the road against a good defense in terrible weather conditions. Like, I mean, I don't blame the guy.
yeah.
I mean, the only thing that they could do was run the ball, and even then, I mean, people were still fumbling left and right.
They were missing their best player.
They were missing Kittle. Kittle was out for that game.
All right, I'm gonna make this claim. Ready for this? Mike Vrabel's on the hot seat.
I completely agree.
For who?
You
Tennessee.
cannot afford to
The team.
lose that game.
Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee. Yeah. I'm good with faces.
Okay, but Mike Vrabel, the Titans, they have no business losing that game to the New York Giants. They're up 13-0 at the half. All they have to do is run Derrick Henry, and the Giants don't get as many possessions as they do. Instead, they let Saquon Barkley, remember him, the number 2 overall pick in the 2018 draft, they let him get going. And all of a sudden, the New York Giants are up 21-20. They can't stop a 2-point conversion. And then Randy Bullock, the worst clutch kicker in the history of the NFL, boots a 47-yard field goal wide left. And all of a sudden, now Tennessee's 0-1. They're going to Buffalo for Monday Night Football this week. Good luck.
0-2.
Then they got
0-2.
the Raiders at home, and then the Colts on the road. Like, that's 0-4 staring you down
They
in the
could
face.
go. Actually,
No, it's 0-4.
Hear me out. They lose Monday Night Football. They lose to the Raiders, but they beat Indianapolis.
I don't see them beating Indianapolis.
Indy tied Houston, for crying out loud.
Okay, but a tie is still better than a loss.
Yeah, but you tied Houston.
I would rate Houston better than the Giants personally.
So, do you say? Are we gonna say that Houston's gonna be maybe a surprise team?
Potentially.
I'm not going.
No.
I mean, they were up 20-7 at one point in that game.
Yeah.
20-3.
20-3, my bad. They blew it
then-
just like the Falcons.
Yeah, but the Giants, what I'm saying, for them to come back from down 13-0 against the number 1 seed from last year in the AFC, that's a strong statement right there.
Okay. And I agree. I think it's crazy to think. Don't hate me for this, but Cowboys are terrible. Point blank,
Whoa.
said and done.
I mean,
Cowboys
here's the
are
thing, they just
terrible.
lost their starting quarterback for 6 to 8 weeks. I mean, that's a very easy claim.
They're
to make.
not making the playoffs this year.
And even with them,
Even if Dak was healthy, they're not making the playoffs.
they were in when Dak was in the game.
Yes.
Dak.
Okay. I can continue. I can say that the Cowboys did not look in their best form that they have.
Like I said, Philly's taking that division.
I think Philly is going to take the division based solely off the fact that Dak Prescott is going to be missing almost half the season.
I've been saying it since the offseason. Philly's going to take it.
I've been saying it too because I like their roster better than the Cowboys.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Now, a surprise team, though, a surprise team in that division could be the Giants.
I'm sorry. I'm happy.
Either the Giants or the Commanders. Who do you got finishing in second?
Yeah, but that's an impressive win on the road at Tennessee.
It's a shocking statement. Let's say that.
I still think the Cowboys will take second place because I'm not going to put faith
Who will
in
Cooper Rush?
No, because I think that Dak can come back, win more games than the Giants will healthy as well as the Commanders healthy because I don't trust the Commanders offense with Carson Wentz, and the Giants are still giving Daniel Jones shots to win any potential starting job and to prove that he's a quarterback. When that man is in his 4th season, they finished under 500 every single season for the past 3 years. And the only reason that I will say that they won is because Saquon Barkley ran for 191 yards.
Saquon's
Yeah.
back.
And what's going to happen when Saquon Barkley gets hurt again?
Exactly.
Right.
Here's my thing. Kenny Golladay.
And they still don't have a true. Yeah, Kenny Golladay, my ass, Anthony. They still don't have a true number one weapon.
Exactly. And they demoted Kadarius Toney to wide receiver 4. Sterling Shepard is old. Wan'Dale Robinson got played on there as well. Exactly. He was the second round pick for the Giants taken early. But here's my thing with the Giants. The Giants' defense, Tay Crowder, oh my God. And he hit stick Derrick Henry was beautiful.
Didn't they get the guy from Oregon? Thibodeau?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thibodeau, he's been out. He got hurt in the preseason on a controversial block by the Bengals tight end Thaddeus Moss. Hopefully he comes back.
Son of Randy Moss.
Can we all agree that they need to fix the roughing the passer calls?
I don't want to say fix it. I just think that they're being a little too soft about it. I think
if you're sacking the quarterback, that's not roughing the passer.
Agreed, but
you're hitting the quarterback and he's falling to the ground.
But you can't hit the quarterback near the head. That's a rule.
Exactly. That's the issue.
But even
and you can't hit him low. Okay.
So then where are you supposed to hit him?
Exactly. That's why it's harder than ever to sack the quarterback. We know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But guys, we've been talking about all these games. We haven't even gotten to the team who made the biggest statement this weekend, and that was the Kansas City Chiefs.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Unbelievable performance by the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes.
And to segue with that, Frankie, I know right before we started to filming, we were talking about, you said that you had 4 players that were your players of the week. I had my player of the week. I think it's safe to say this was my player of the week, Patrick Mahomes. Remember that statement that I made last week that I said Patrick Mahomes is going to do better without Tyreek Hill than he did with Tyreek Hill? Man threw for 360 passing yards and 5 touchdowns without Tyreek Hill. On the Cardinals. I understand the Cardinals don't have the greatest defense of all time, but still, tell me that my statement is wrong.
It's not because what Mahomes did that was so great. Travis Kelce was the leader of the receiving corps. No shock there. 9 catches, 121 yards, and a touchdown. But to see guys like Marquez Valdes-Scantling and Juju Smith-Schuster have big roles in the game. Clyde Edwards-Helaire even had a respectable 72 yards from scrimmage and a touchdown. And then you look at Patrick Mahomes. He was accurate. He looked like he did not miss a beat. The Chiefs' offense might be different this year, but what that statement did on Sunday. The Kansas City Chiefs are still the favorites in the AFC West, and you cannot tell me Patrick Mahomes is not the best quarterback in that division.
I will go blatantly and say that I still believe that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the entire league.
I can't disagree with that. I would maybe argue with Josh Allen because here's the thing, and I think I've come to realize this. Patrick Mahomes, when he runs, it's not like he's running to gain yards. He's running just to, get away from, would-be sacks and then make a throw down the field. Josh Allen, when he's running, he's looking to run down the field. He's a force of nature when he runs. If we're talking about overall quarterback, because running is part of being a quarterback now, I would say maybe Josh Allen's the best quarterback. But as far as pure passer, oh my gosh, Patrick Mahomes, he still has it.
I think Josh Allen can make a big claim for being the best.
Okay, so I had 2 players of the week, one good one and one person who everyone has put a little I wouldn't say disrespect on, but he's underrated in my opinion. Which one do you want first?
Either, I guess, whichever one you want to start.
Don't come at me. Don't be whatever. I'm saying Jacoby Brissett is one. Jacoby Brissett's one of them. He was projected to originally have like 3-4 wins. Coming into Carolina, yeah, I know Carolina's a mishmashy team or whatever. I think Jacoby Brissett might be that guy.
I can say
he went 147 with 1 touchdown, but he's always been that underrated quarterback in my opinion.
That's not going to cut it. Like when they play the Chargers in week 5, the Ravens in week 7, the Bengals in week 8, Buccaneers, Bills, Dolphins, 147 and 1 touchdown, that's not going to cut it, plain and simple.
I couldn't tell you an exact stat, but I can guarantee you quarterbacks that throw for under 200 yards typically will lose more games than they win more games.
Okay, and then my second player, not a quarterback, shocking, Justin Jefferson.
Thank you.
Justin Jefferson, I will say now, he's going to win MVP.
Ooh.
Justin Jefferson. He
Offensive player of the year.
nine receptions, 184 yards, 20.4 is the average, 64 yards was his longest, and 2 touchdowns.
That's
I'm
amazing.
reading it off my phone, but still.
Justin Jefferson pulled off some Randy Moss style numbers, especially when Randy Moss had his famous 153 and 3. If you all know what I'm talking about.
Watch that highlight.
Exactly. I can safely say Justin Jefferson, in my opinion, can win Offensive Player of the Year.
Justin Jefferson just is wow.
One game we haven't necessarily, I guess there's 2 games we haven't talked about yet.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Chargers Raiders.
And that game turned out about what you'd expect, but Derek Carr throwing 3.
The thing is, the Raiders always struggle week 1. They always struggle in LA.
Yeah.
Remember last year? We lost in LA. We lost by 2 touchdowns, but we still. I would say this game was a lot closer than I expected, but yeah, he threw 3 picks. But that doesn't help the fact that Burrow threw 4.
No, it doesn't. But the Raiders. I can't.
I'll say Burrow has a bounce back game this week.
Oh, absolutely.
Who do y'all got?
Dallas.
Well,
Dallas. Oh yeah,
really?
That's a big bounce back game.
I'm picking the Bengals.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm picking the Bengals any day of the week.
Okay. Now, there's one other thing, and this is mainly just because I think it's kind of funny. We talked about this earlier in the episode. The Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons choking is a not rare occurrence to see in the NFL, pretty common. However, on the other team, the New Orleans Saints orchestrating a 16-plus point comeback to win.
Jameis is still not that high.
But you know what, Anthony? Jameis took that W, and he's eating that W.
Did you see his first half stats though?
First half stats don't matter when you win the game.
And by the way, Michael Thomas is back.
Michael Thomas is back.
Anthony, newsflash, that's who you're playing Sunday.
Yeah, you're playing them in New Orleans too. Tampa Bay does not have the best record recently in New Orleans.
I still got Tampa winning.
I know you do.
Well, we're not shocked. Can I say, going back to Justin Jefferson real quick, here's how underrated he is. Last year, he had 108 catches, 1,610 yards, and 10 touchdowns, and it felt like we never talked about him because of Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, and Devontae Adams. Justin Jefferson is as good as those receivers, if not better.
Agreed.
Oh, is there any other game that we haven't talked about? Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. We kind of touched on that overall.
Talk about the kickers and how terrible all of them are.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Well,
Rodrigo Blankenship getting cut.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you have a backup long snapper from South Florida long snapping in overtime and at the end of regulation. Mitch Wilcox.
Mitch Wilcox is a tight end.
Yeah, but he had to come in and long snap because our long snapper tore his biceps in the 4th quarter on a punt.
Oh,
that had hurt.
But you know what, Anthony, and I think this will wrap up the episode. And I'm glad that you remembered this because I almost forgot. Rodrigo Blankenship. Everybody's so heartbroken over Rodrigo Blankenship getting cut. That man was in the bottom half of kickers in terms of goodness. I liked Rodrigo Blankenship as a person. I did not like him as a kicker. He finished below average in the past 2 seasons.
So who do you like more?
Accuracy. What do you mean?
Who do you like more? Him or Roberto Aguayo?
Well, how is that even a fair contest?
Remember Aguayo?
I remember Roberto Aguayo. You guys took a second-round pick on him. But here's my thing about Blankenship. In one game, everyone's like, oh, my God, Rodrigo Blankenship. Oh, my God. He missed the game-winning field goal, and he kicked 2 kickoffs out of bounds, resulting at putting the Houston Texans at the 40-yard line. In one game.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
What are the Chiefs going to do about their kicking situation?
The Chiefs will be fine. There's plenty of availability.
Did you see their freaking safety kick that field goal?
Exactly.
They'll just score touchdowns tomorrow night.
Exactly. Trust me,
I saw-
Kansas City does not have any issues with.
Is that game in Kansas City?
It is.
Yes.
Yes, it is. in
Kansas City takes it by 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
Whoa.
Justin Reed field goal.
Hey, I mean, next man up mentality.
All right.
I think that'll be it for this episode.
What an interesting episode.
Bit of a great episode. Back with week 1 predictions. Always good to be back. Thank you so much
Well,
for watching.
It already happened.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean. Doing the episode for the predictions makes it even better.
Yeah.
Or not predictions, overview, not predictions. Mix up on my words today. But
That will
again,
be the next episode.
yeah, well,
down
2
up
predictions
here,
will be the
down
next
from
episode.
here.
Yeah. But again, thank you so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll be back with the week 2 picks in like 5 seconds. And we will be back next week for our week 2 overview. Lots of good games. We'll be doing our predictions, like I said, shortly. Week 1 rankings will be revealed in the week 2 predictions episode. Stay tuned for that. A lot of surprises. 2 people went under 500, 2 people went over. But again, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys real soon.